Alright, how's it going? My name is Brodie and I'm an FPV YouTuber, also an FPV pilot for the past 2 years now, and yeah, we're going to be answering some questions today.
What does FPV mean to you?
Alright, aside from the obvious first-person view, it's not that funny, but FPV is a super cool, just experiential thing that you can do. It's kind of like when you go into VR and games and whatnot, except it's not a game, it's a real life. You're flying in reality. You can get some really sick FPV shots for just cinematic films, just projects in general, work, whatever it is. I think the filmmaking side of things, what really excites me the most out of FPV. So FPV to me is mostly a tool, but it's also a super fun experience as well.
What was it that got you hooked on FPV?
Well, I kind of answered that one in that first question, but it was easily trying to get cinematic shots. I think I saw somebody like Johnny FPV online, saw it on Instagram, I was like, holy crap, that's a drone that does that. At the time, I'm only flying like the normal DJI drones, the standard photography ones, but then I see these FPV shots. How the hell do you get these sick dives down waterfalls, just hanging out with monkeys and trees and whatnot? It's actually really cool, and it's 100% what got me hooked onto FPV.
What has your most memorable moment been in FPV?
Okay, well, there's probably a couple, and the first is not a good one, but I'll explain it as easily as I can. This is the most memorable for me because it's the one that freaked me out the most, and I happened to be flying at an event for a job, and I was flying around like some pretty expensive track cars on a track, and at the same time of flying, the traffic light system at the track was pumping out Wi-Fi signals, whatever, different signals and frequencies around the place, and they changed the lights, and it cut all my video feed entirely from the drone, and I crashed, and it was about this far, maybe even this far away from actually hitting one of the track cars. Thank God I didn't, because that would have been an expensive mistake. I mean, hey, the drone came out fine, the GoPro's a little smashed up, but other than that, that's probably the most memorable moment in regards to a bad time. But for a good time, hands down, the most memorable time for me was going to New Zealand Opens, one of the drone racing events. I'd never been exposed to drone racing whatsoever. Like, I didn't even know the concept really existed in New Zealand where I live. And so I went to that, met 30, 40 odd people that just all were into FPV as well. So it's the first time I really saw another FPV drone flying around, let alone, 30, 40 other FPV drones all around as well. Super cool experience. Would highly recommend if you haven't been to an FPV event, just go and experience it. Go and meet some people. It's cool.
What did you find the most challenging in FPV?
Oh, okay. Most challenging was 100% the initial learning curve. You go from flying these normal DJI drones, and they're pretty simple to fly, and then you go into FPV and you actually know nothing. So the simulator was definitely the worst, hardest part for me, whatever you want to say for that. I didn't really enjoy that initial learning process, but the moment that I took the drone out for the first time, I had a little Tiny Hawk drone. Second I took that out for the first time, best time of my life, got the whole experience. So the first initial part of FPV was pretty much the hardest part.
How long did it take for you to really fly an FPV drone?
Well, there's, I guess, so much of a definition of really being able to fly, but I would say it probably has taken me the better part of 2 years to really be able to go out and know that I can get a shot or know that I can do a certain thing. But to just get a drone in the sky, it took me 5 hours on a simulator. Then I went out, took flight, and it was an awful first flight, don't get me wrong, there was nothing good about it, but that was how long it took me initially. 2 years later, 2.5 years later, I am now able to race, I can freestyle, I can film, I can do a lot of things that I never used to be able to do. So I think that just comes along with time. You become more competent, more confident as well. And yeah, time is everything.
Do you have any good tips for beginners getting into FPV?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many tips. So many tips. First up though, what do we got? Rates. This is a big one that I wish I'd actually learned earlier. Change your rates, get used to a new set of rates, and it will help your flying massively. But if you're not at the rate stage just yet, practice flying in real life. That's the big one. Don't just practice on a sim. Everyone's like, practice on sims. Sims are boring to me. I don't get that much enjoyment out of them. Buy a drone kit, get out there, put the goggles on after actually half practicing on a sim. So yeah, do practice on a sim for like a couple of hours, then take a drone out and just absolutely obliterate the drone in every scenario possible. Get out there, fly, have fun, meet people. That's probably another one, is meeting people. You meet more people, you learn off them, you have a lot more fun than just flying on your own, and you won't get burnt out. And yeah, quite frankly, you'll find the whole FPV community, which has been an insanely cool place to be involved in, and also just from an outside perspective, it's a great place to be as well.
What vision do you have for FPV in the future?
I guess a vision that I have for it is that it will become a bigger thing for filmmaking and be used, and it already is, it's getting used in Hollywood movies now, and which is a really cool thing to see, but just becoming more widely accepted. I think drones as a whole, as a general, need to become more widely accepted within the communities, and they're not there to rob you, they're not there to attack you, they're just there most of the time, 99% of the time, to have a fun time, a great time, or catch photos, make videos, whatever it might be. So getting FPV drones involved into more cinematic stuff, more filmmaking, more capturing stuff, that's a massive vision that I have, and I think we're definitely on a great path going towards there already. So we're kind of halfway there, but that's a great vision that I've got.
What would life look like for you without FPV?
Okay, definitely a deep one, but I guess life for me without FPV would be missing some pretty damn cool elements in my videos and whatnot, but more so, I wouldn't be able to get involved in what I've been getting involved in, which is the community. And that's been a massive part. I've made probably 6 or 7 friends here where I live in New Zealand, and they're all FPV buddies. We go out and fly, we go over to each other's places and fly. We just go out and have fun times flying, and it's the connection from FPV that actually makes all that happen. It's just about finding a shared passion, and FPV happens to be that shared passion in this instance. But yeah, I guess I also wouldn't be making YouTube videos, wouldn't be getting to do stuff like this, and wouldn't be able to help people out with stuff that I've learned in the past 2.5 years. So FPV is dope. Thanks for watching through, and yeah, happy flying. Hopefully we'll see you out there.